friends, and welcome back to the Hammond Solutions channel. Today, we're going to cover a multi-part series on how to install a new version of vCenter and to do a migration of an existing cluster from an older version of vCenter. The way this started was, before I wanted to start making content, I realized I was running an older lab version of vCenter. I wanted to run a newer version just to make all of our demos here. What we're going to start with is we're going to actually install a new version of vCenter, and then we're going to do a VDS to a VSS migration. We're going to move the cluster to the new vCenter, and then we're going to move from the standard switch back to a new distributed switch. We're also going to cover how to update vCenter, how to join it to a domain, how to set up HA, DRS, EVC, and an affinity rules, and probably a couple other loaded goodies along the way. Without further ado, let's get started. Downloaded the VMware VCSA ISO onto another machine, and then I copied it to this machine that I'm remoted into. I used a program called TerraCopy, which is a really nice tool, very verbose, and at the end of each copy, you could also run a checksum. Another great utility is MD5 SHA checksum, and I ran a checksum using SHA-256 against the ISO downloaded. The way to verify that is you take the ISO name, and you just do a quick search for it. I really like Start Page. I think it's a wonderful privacy-driven search engine. And then you could go ahead and click on the VMware site. And then what you see here, again, is the version of vCenter that we're using, and you can get the checksum here. So I'm just going to go ahead and right-click, copy. I go my little tool, paste it, and then I can run a verify. And what you can see is the SHA-256 hash matched. And we can close this and close this. We see here that the ISO is in my downloads folder, and it's an ISO. So in Windows 11, all you have to do is just double click, and I'll actually mount the ISO for you. And then you go to the VCSA UI installer. We want Windows 32. And then we're going to do the installer. Because we're doing a fresh install, we'll click install. In previous versions of vCenter, there was what's called a platform service controller, or a PSC. Historically, VMware's gone back and forth whether it should be integrated into the same machine or if it should be its own dedicated machine. In version 8, they have obviously deprecated it. So go ahead and click next. Of course we agree. Now it's asking us where we want to install the vCenter server VM, as in which host. I have all this written on my notes on another screen, so I'm just copying and pasting. Next. Now it's asking us, do we want to accept the certificate? Yes. The authentication worked. So now we want to set up the vCenter server VM. So this is the VM name as it will appear on the VMware server. So we're going to say ham vc02. And then this is the root password to log into the vCenter server itself, not to be confused with the administrator at vSphere.local. Click next. What I usually tell customers is whatever size you think you should do, go one size above. The reason being is you never know what's going to happen as far as mergers, acquisitions, or whatever else. That being said, this is a lab environment. I'm just going to stick with tiny and default. Say next. We select the data store where the VM will actually be stored. Go and say next. I've already prepped the host, so we're going to use VLAN 100. We want IP version 4. We're going to want a static IP, and then an FQDN. Static IP, subnet, gateway, DNS servers. A really important thing is for the FQDN, you want to make sure that you've already added it before you start the installer to your DNS server. And you want to make sure you add the A record, and then you also want to make sure you add a reverse lookup or a PTR record. The reason being is vCenter does check for these and will bark pretty hard if you don't have them. As far as the ports, I strongly recommend you leave them defaults. It can cause some heartache later on if you're using other appliances or utilities to connect to vCenter. So go ahead and say next. Here's our confirmation screen, so we'll say next. This usually takes about 15 to 30 minutes depending on your network and machine time. For the sake of time, I'm going to speed up the video. That way you don't have to sit through the entire install and you can see each of the prompts. Stage 1, deploy vCenter server. You have successfully deployed the vCenter server. In past installs of vCenter, I've had problems when I click continue, like screens just go blank, etc. For the past, I don't know however many versions of vCenter, what I usually do is I'll just go ahead and say close. And then it's saying that if you want to continue the install, you just go to the vCenter management interface. And so I'll just say yes. I'll open up my trusty Brave browser. I'll go to what's called VAMI, vCenter Appliance Management Interface. It's asking me for a login root. So this is the login for the VM. We don't see install, but instead we see setup. What it's going to do is it's going to go to stage 2. See stage 1, stage 2. Next. It's confirming a couple of options. We do want to synchronize the time with NTP servers. SSH, I leave this deactivated. I only enable it when I need it, and then when I'm done, I turn it back off. So go ahead and say next. At this point, we're being asked to create a SSO domain. I almost always use defaults. Do not, I repeat, do not use your Windows Active Directory domain name. It will cause confusion. For those of you that used VMware before, this is going to be the login for the administrator at vSphere.local. Next. I don't want to join the Customer Experience Improvement Program. This is just a lab server. It's just temporary. So I'm going to say next. And again, another verification screen. So click Finish. A general warning, you will not be able to pause or stop the install from completing once it has started. Click OK to continue or cancel to stop the install. And as before, this takes about 15 to 30 minutes, depending on your machine speed, network speed, etc. I'm going to speed up this part. All right, good news. Stage 2 is complete. You have successfully set up this vCenter server. So we'll go ahead and say close. We'll minimize this. Now we're done with the ISO. Right click, say eject. All right, now you know how to install vCenter. Just remember, you have to do all your pre-work to make it successful. I hope you found this content helpful. Thank you for your time and take care.